loves a workout. You know what I speak of, right? Oh, it's so good to see you all here this morning. So good. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and the dads of the dads. Well, no, the fathers of our fathers that are here. Here's a little brief history on Father's Day. It was first celebrated in 1910 in Spokane, Washington. There was a woman, and she admired her dad so much because her own dad raised her and her 5 siblings because he was a widower. His wife had died. So she wanted to celebrate him. So she basically instituted this celebration within her community, but it became a nationally recognized holiday in 1972. Right? That's weird to think. Like, I was a little kid when like Father's Day was brand new. It wasn't just always that way. Now I know, like for myself, Father's Day is a little complicated because I have daddy issues, right? Like I talk about that sometimes. But I think in general, we think of dads, we kind of give them this superhero status. They're the big, strong man. They come in and they fix things. And they stand up to the bullies when we're little. And they teach us to stand up for what we believe is important as we grow older. They lead by example. But I was having this conversation with somebody, and because these parent conversations come up a lot with people, and she was telling me that she had a very complicated relationship with her father because nothing she ever did was good enough, and she was constantly trying to make him proud of her, but he never would be, and so she basically had to just like kind of distance herself and really practice not taking things personally, right? Really turning that into practice. The thing about when we have daddy issues, and I don't know why, it's not this way with the mother, but with dads, with daddy issues, we tend to project our issues. And it's not actually just the issues. We project our positive feelings about fathers also. We project all of our feelings of fathers onto God, onto the supreme being in our life. However we believe in that, we tend to project those issues. I know somebody who became an atheist because he hates God. And he thinks he hates the people who believe in God. I'm like, wait, but you're an atheist. You're not supposed to believe in a God. You're not actually an atheist. You're a rebel. You're a rebel is what you are, right? You're rebelling. But there has been, throughout history, there have been some like stories of some pretty, scary fathers out there. Even like I was just searching for grins on like the worst fathers in mythology. That's like all the Greek gods, basically. Cronus was so afraid of his children usurping him that he would devour them when they were babies, right? And so baby Zeus was his son. Baby Zeus is born and his mom hides him, but dresses a rock up like a baby. And then gives the rock to Cronus, and Cronus devours the rock. Like, he ate a rock. I'm sorry, it was just so silly. But when you think about the gods and goddesses, is this too loud? No? It's okay? Okay. When you think about the gods and goddesses of mythology, of stories, they are like what they come from. They're like what they come from, and they come from us. Humanity created all the mythology of the gods and the goddesses. So all of our hopes and our dreams are projected onto these supreme beings, and also all of our fears and all of our limitations, everything that makes us feel disempowered. We project all those onto the gods and goddesses. But see, they are like what they come from because they come from humanity and a way of thinking. But humanity is also like what we come from. We are like what we come from. And who we truly come from is the divine. We are divine in origin. We are created in the image and likeness of our Creator. And it's not a physical image. It is a spiritual image. So as the Creator creates in the whole, we are designed to create our own little universe, which is the package of our life. So we are like what we come from. And that's our our whole like mission on being on this planet right now is to become aware of that, to discover our divine origins. So the mother, the divine father, they are the divine aspects of what it is that works through us, because we want to give things a name. We want to be able to have a way of describing things. So we have the divine mother, we have the divine father. And so divine father was the original inspiration. In that moment, when our known universe and what we know about the known universe was created, the Big Bang, in a let there be light moment, the divine father was the inspiration for that moment. The divine father was the word. Right in the beginning was the word. And the word is intention and activity. And so that's how the divine father is at work, through intention and activity. And then it continues to create through all of its creations. So there's a universe is created, and then within the universe, there are galaxies that are created. Within the galaxies, there are planetary systems created. Within some of these planets, there is life. And then you can look at all the life on planet Earth, and you could take a microscope, and you could keep diving down into that forever, just like you could keep using a telescope and going out that way into space forever. But then really, when you think about it, it's the field, right? The quantum field then became the molecules and the particles, and then the things that we could see, and then the planets, and then there's a planetary system and galaxies and our universe. So this is the divine father, the activity, the inspiration, the movement forward. The divine mother was the container to hold all of this, the container that held the substance, that nurtured, that nourished everything that was busy growing. Now, Joseph Campbell says basically the difference between a mother and a father is that the mother prepares us for the hero's journey, and the father throws us out into the hero's journey. Okay? So the mother's busy like giving us everything we could possibly need, providing us with the inner resources. And then the father is the adventurer. Like, we're gonna go out, and I'll put a life jacket on you, or I'll give you a helmet, but we're going out to have an adventure. But so if you look at this as the divine mother and divine father, the divine mother gives us all we could possibly need in the form of grace and inner resourcefulness and our ability to choose to call that forth. The divine father gives us a sense of urgency. Sense of urgency that something needs to be created. Like we feel this inner calling that we will feel like we will just die if we cannot create this thing, if we cannot do this thing. It will feel urgent. It will feel exciting. This is the inspiration. It's the feeling of, let's move. The time is now. The time is go. That's the divine father at work in us. Now this year I decided I wanted to focus more on the divine father, the divine mother, because I did the divine mother for Mother's Day. I wanted to focus on them more than just regular stories because of where we are in an evolution of consciousness right now. And I've kind of been talking about this, but humanity is experiencing this evolution of consciousness, and there's been a dramatic shift happening actually like over the last 30 years or so. I think most of us in this room, we can remember a time kind of before it started happening, and then as we're looking back, we're like, oh yeah, things really did take a turn. My favorite author, Carolyn Mace, says that the evolution of consciousness, the seed was planted when Oppenheimer split the atom. Because now all of a sudden, we can destroy on a global level. But to destroy on a global level, we have to balance out that polarity, which means that humanity, we had to be able, because if we can conceive destroying countries and continents, we have to also, what happens in our consciousness is we have to start conceiving of the greater good that we can expand to. That's how we balance that out. And so we were kind of thrown into that. But we started having a more world consciousness because now, if you can destroy the whole world, that's a lot to think about. So now we are discovering how we can send love around the world. We can feel compassion for somebody on the other side of the planet that we've never met. So we're going through this evolution of consciousness. Now the first epoch, so there are 3 epochs. The first epoch started probably 35,000 years ago. It lasted for about 25,000 years. And it was considered a time of prehistory. And so there wasn't a whole lot going on, yet there have been archaeological discoveries of art, like cave art and little statues, from that period of time. And they were goddess mothers, like with the big bosom and the big hips, and kind of like all this you see right here, right? But not as much hair. Okay. All right, but see, there was the goddess art, but there were also cave paintings. Poor Adam, I'm so sorry. Mom! But there was also cave art that depicted animals, right? Just animals, just doing animal stuff. The cave art that we see where the animals are filled with spears and there's all the warriors around them, that started in the second epoch. So the first epoch, 35,000 years ago, that lasted about 25,000 years, seemed to be a time of peace. And of course, there were way less people on the planet, but people also lived in harmony with the planet. There was a sense of oneness and being at one with everything. So even though the people were still hunters and gatherers, they appreciated, it was a gift. The animals were gifts there for them. Okay, so then we move into the second epoch, which started about 10,000 years ago. And it took a couple of thousand years to start rolling into it, but this is the epoch that brought about separation. Okay, so the first epoch, you could say we were in the garden. The second epoch, we left the garden, because this is about separation. This is about humanity saying, I can do it myself. I'm going to do it my way. Because humanity wanted to discover what they were capable of. So they separated themselves out from the planet. They decided instead of being at one with everything, it's time to have dominion over everything. And that's how it's presented in a creation story in Genesis that was written in the second epoch. Right? So they believe that. All right, so in this time, we were not being punished and being kicked out of the garden. It was our choice. It was humanity's choice, because it was evolution. To separate ourselves from the all, we got to make the choice then to become as God created us. To know ourselves as the powerful creators that we are, we had to forget what it is working through us for us as us. Okay, so that basically, this is when we discover there's a hero's journey for each of us to take. And mythology starts getting created. And mythology is about the hero's journey and overcoming struggles to discover our inner strengths. We're basically here to play a game on this planet. That's what we're here for. We're here to play the game of life, right? Like Florence Scovel Shinn says. So in a way, we're kind of like the prodigal son, where we decided, I'm going to do it my way. I want to discover what I'm capable of. I'm going to see if I can manage this better than my dad. Right? That's what he said. Because that's what little kids do. Every single one of us in this room, there came a point where we said to our parents, well, I said it to my mother, not my dad, because he was a cowardly sperm donor who bailed on us when my mom was pregnant with me, just so you know. But I rebelled too. And how a kid does that is, I want to do it. I want to dress myself. I want to make my own pancake, right? I want to pick out my clothes when, you go shopping. I can remember Adam being around 5 years old, and we got him something called a Bionicle, which is a Lego kit. And you guys might remember it, right? Oh, yeah. But Bionicles, they were just this little, y'all know Legos, right? Legos. Well, the Bionicle was basically like a warrior alien, right? And it was all like, they had a sword and stuff. So my 5-year-old Adam sees this. He wants it so bad, right? Because he sees them on display. He sees what they are, not just a box of parts. Well, I'm looking at the box and it's for ages 7 to 9 or something like that. He's 5. But he wants it so bad. So we get it for him, take it home. He dumps it out on the coffee table. He's analyzing everything. He's not really old enough to read instructions, but he's kind of guessing and looking at them. He didn't want anybody to do this puzzle for him because it wouldn't mean anything to him. And it took him a little while, but he got this put together. And he was so proud of his accomplishment that he took this Bionicle, and we had this little digital camera, and he put it all over in different places in the house and took pictures of it. But see, this is what happens when we are faced with a challenge, and maybe it's out of our age range, but we decide we're going to do it anyway, and then we do it, we stick to it, we are committed, we are dedicated. When we finish it, when we accomplish it, our sense of accomplishment is so great, and there is the proof right there. And that's what brings just like so much joy and excitement into our lives, is the process of getting it done. So little kids do this all the time when they attempt something new, and they're allowed to do it instead of having a parent come in and just do everything for them. But see, that creating that, or putting together that Bionicle, or putting together any kind of thing, doing anything new, it expands our consciousness, right? Just expands our consciousness. We did something a little bigger, a little brighter, a little bolder than we had done before. And that's what feels so exciting. Now, if you think about being in the garden, like in the garden where everything is easy, everything is taken care of for us. When we are in the garden, we're like the little acorn. And the acorn's planted. The acorn doesn't think about it. The acorn doesn't worry. It just grows into the oak tree. It grows into what it was meant to be. But see, we're not learning anything from that. We're not getting the joy of the experience of being faced with that challenge and then accomplishing it and having the demonstration, the proof that we are capable of doing something that we maybe didn't think we were capable of. We didn't know we were capable of that. And we don't get that just by having a program run in our brain that makes us be as God created us. When we choose to be as God created us and do the hard things and embody faith, that is when we create the demonstrations in our life, because we're acting from free will. We don't have to do very well in our life. We could choose to not do anything. So our soul's desire is to create a life with purpose and intention. Our soul's desire is to create or go into an experience that will make us a bigger, brighter, bolder version of the self that we were before the experience. Because this is where we discover what we're capable of. But we can only discover this about ourselves if we face challenges. If we face or find ourselves in situations that we cannot call the solution forth by ordinary means, right? We have to do something new, right? We can only call forth a solution by trusting and acting on faith. We can't use our history as a means to move us forward on this. We're doing something totally new. So here is how the activity of the Divine Father works through us. Okay, first of all, we're given a desire to do something. It doesn't have to be to save the planet. It doesn't have to be to come up with, free Wi-Fi for everybody. It's just, what do we happen to desire? We're given a desire. And it could be something like, well, maybe I want to throw a dinner party, or maybe I want to rearrange my living room, or maybe I want to read 20 books this year, or maybe I want to learn this new thing, right? So we're given a desire, and we get excited about it. And we start thinking about what's possible if we do this, if we move forward on this. And then the next thing that we'll feel is dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction. Because now we're aware, oh, I don't have my desire. I don't have that experience. I haven't created that experience yet. So I'm not satisfied. I'm not fulfilled. I experience dissatisfaction. Now that dissatisfaction is meant to be, that boost, that energy that moves us forward. Okay, it's designed to get us moving because it doesn't feel good to sit in dissatisfaction. That doesn't feel good. So that's just to give us, the urge to move forward and create something new. Then we use the power of dedication, right? Dedication takes strength and it takes commitment. Because if we want to create this new experience that we don't have in our life yet, we might have to keep doing something over and over to get ourselves there. Right? Some experiences, they could be quick. Like if you want to go to a movie with your friends, you just call your friend and then you go to the movies. But if you want to have an avocado tree grove, this will take a little more time. And so you're gonna plant your trees, or maybe you started off planting the seeds, those big pits in your kitchen. But that's gonna take commitment. Like that's really dedication to be able to grow your avocado trees. And you're out there every day, you're taking care of them, you're making sure that they get water. So dedication is something we have to do over and over again. We have to be able to do that. And feeling dissatisfaction in our lives helps us to be dedicated to creating that next thing, because when we're dedicated and we are doing the actions over and over again, the next thing that we're going to feel and experience is something called zeal. Z-E-A-L. I learned this word for the first time, when I started here at Unity. I'm like, zeal? That's like a word my grandma would use. It's kind of an old-fashioned word, but you know what it means? It means the fire within us that does not consume us, right? It's the fire of passion and excitement and enthusiasm that gets us moving. That way we stay dedicated. Like if we're excited and we start seeing the little bud things growing on an avocado, I don't know what baby avocados look like, but I imagine there's little flowers or something, right? Because it's a fruit tree, so there'd be a little flower and then an avocado. But we start getting excited about this, and that excitement leads to something called a quickening. So the quickening is what we experience when we are in our purpose, like we are living our purpose with excitement. We're on fire with our purpose. We are awakened and aware in our quickening state. Now this, being in the quickening state, we've experienced this, you've experienced this, when you're so excited, you're not aware of how time is going by, and you may forget to eat, right? Like, I know, when I forget a meal, I'm like, how did I do that? It's because I got really into something. I was really excited about something. Now, we don't have that experience when we're in the garden, because in the garden, everything is taken care of for us. When we're in the garden, we have all the fruit trees. We have the shelter, we have the perfect temperature, right? You've heard the story of the Garden of Eden. Everything was just perfect. So here we are on this planet right now, at this time, playing this game. And we're going to be tossed into situations. We'll find ourselves in situations that we don't like. We'll be in situations where we don't trust ourselves, or we don't think we're capable of doing something. We think the thing that we want to do is going to be too hard, and someone else could do it so much easier than we can do it. And so maybe then we'll be faced with the choice. Well, maybe I just want to give up. Because that little voice in my head, right, my little me and little devil costume sitting on my shoulders saying, Deanna, this is going to be way too hard. Why don't you just watch some Netflix and think about it first? Right, so we've got that voice, that part of us that's going to try to talk us out of the activity of the Divine Father being at work in us. We're going to have to choose. When we find ourselves in dissatisfaction, in a situation that we wish we could improve, we want to improve, we desire to improve it, right there we're going to have to actually choose to move forward out of that, to choose to create a life with purpose, with intention, with activity. We've got to choose that. And then that's what gets the whole ball rolling, like the whole creation. The power of creation starts moving through us then at that point. So here we're playing the game of life. And again, maybe we're playing a game that's meant for older kids. but we want to do it anyway. And it's the Divine Father at work that moves us in that direction, that gives us the urgency and the excitement to do this thing, to be as God created us to be. And as God created us to be creators. Like whatever it is that we want to keep creating, whatever just lights our soul up, we are designed to be creators. And so when we are creators and we are acting on faith and we are experiencing zeal, we're dedicated, we're committed, right? We have that quickening. We are being as we were created to be. We are doing it. So here's our call to action this week. First of all, our affirmation, I'll say it so that then we can say it together. With intention and activity, I am as God created me. It's like a poem. With intention and activity, I am as God created me. Acting with intention and being active in our lives, living a life of purpose. That's what makes the experience so engaging and fulfilling. We get this moment where we think, I did that. I did that. I had that experience when I home birthed both my kids, right? And like Adam especially, like I home birthed him, and then I would be, like I was so proud of that. I could just be like at the store, and you know, I'd just be walking by somebody and be like, oh, by the way, I home birthed this child. You know, just like, okay, I had to tell everybody. But it's because we're proud and excited about the demonstration, showing that, because it's the demonstration showing we did something we didn't know we were capable of doing. So in our first epoch, right, the first epoch of human consciousness, we were pretty much provided for. We didn't have to try really hard at stuff. I mean, archaeological evidence doesn't show that there's like battles or anything like that. We just lived in harmony with the planet. In the second epoch, the separation really started shifting things. And so humanity moved into this, I'm going to do it myself. I can do it better. I'll have dominion over everything. But the thing is that we were not meant to have dominion over the planet. Like we're meant to have dominion over our thoughts and how we treat the planet, how we show up in our lives every day, how we are connecting, so we're having the experience of being among the all, being one with the all. And so when the second epoch rolled through, people want dominion, but not everybody can have dominion. Just like not everybody in our country can be president. And so you have the most powerful people seeking to control the masses. So now, instead of discovering what it is that works through us, for us, as us, and discovering like what we're really capable of, humanity at that time, most people were disempowered, and they were put in a caste system. And it's like they could do their best with what they had, and they could live peacefully, but they were ruled over. They had rulers and people telling them what to do and who they could choose to be, right? We know, if you watch Downton Abbey, we know how hard it is to get out of the basement, right? Yeah, we know. Did they call it a basement? The kitchen. Downstairs. It was the downstairs. Okay, now this is what, think about, okay, so when you're being ruled over by somebody, when somebody's telling you what to do, when you can't have what you want, when you can't follow your desires, you feel disempowered. And then God becomes the sky daddy that's out there. Oh, if I'm going to heal, sky daddy will heal me. If I'm going to do this, well, sky daddy will have to give it to me. Okay, oh, and if you did something wrong, you're being punished, and Sky Daddy will punish you if you don't behave. And that's really, that controlled a lot of people. You want God to punish you? Right, you want God to punish you. I think about Job, like, and his friends walking in up to him, and they're supposed to be comforting him, but instead they were like, what did you do? What did you do? Let's blame the victim. So we're in the third epoch now, okay, which is about the consciousness of finding our divine origins, recognizing, having awareness of our divine origins, that we were created in the image and the likeness of our Creator, that the divine is at work through us, for us, as us, right? We are an individuated soul. So we have our own personality. We're a soul separate from the other souls, but still part of the all. And it's the all that works through each of us. And so we're here to discover our divine origins instead of looking for something out there to save us. You know, whether we think it's a politician out there that'll save us or a big sky daddy that'll save us, that's not what this consciousness shift is about. The consciousness shift is about going within us to our own inner resourcefulness to see, okay, well, what can I do here with what I have got? How can I do my best with what I've got right now? And so we already have all that we need in that. We have grace. We have inner resourcefulness. And if we listen to the voice of God within us, to our higher self, we're guided the next thing to do. And if we need help, we know where to go to ask for help. We ask for help. Or if we can do something ourselves, we're guided and we do that thing. But we're trusting and we are acting on that divine guidance. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like everything that we're doing, it doesn't have to be perfect, because this is we're practicing. We're practicing this and getting better at it so we can go to the next level. Right? So we're here, it's about progress, not perfection. You know, when Adam was building bionicles, he got a lot of those little individual bionicles. But pretty soon he could put them together in a really short period of time. He got fast. So then he wanted something more complicated. Right? He didn't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. See, children naturally know this. They won't keep playing the same game when they're already really good at it. They want to be challenged. And that's what our soul is here, to be challenged. And so we'll fail, but what is important is our choice to get back up again. Right? The falling teaches us to fly, basically. So but we're choosing to get back up again and on to the next thing that will challenge us. And it could take some practice, and we may do it over and over again, but eventually we'll get quicker, we'll get smarter, right? We'll be faster about it. But we're designed to thrive in the challenges. We don't thrive when we're on autopilot. And I'm not saying you have to be in this frame of mind like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, no, not at all. Like, there's also rest, right? It's important for us to get some rest too. And to be entertained and just have some fun. But we're designed to be challenged. We're not designed to stay in the garden. We're designed to create the garden. We're designed to expand the garden. Yeah. So we want to recognize dissatisfaction in our life. That's where we start. Where in our lives are we dissatisfied? Where do we feel like, well, this is really hard and I can't seem to do this? Where do we feel like maybe we pray and we do our affirmations, but nothing changes? Right? If we are stuck in something that's dissatisfying to us, all that means is that somewhere we're feeling disempowered. Somewhere we're not buying into this, God is all things and that means me. That's what's happening. We're not acknowledging the divine at work within us. So we want to go to the acknowledging. God is all things and that means me. That's what empowers us when we start thinking about that. We're going to stay feeling stuck if we keep thinking something out there has to fix us. But see, the big sky daddy out there, that's a thought from childhood. Kids, their daddy will come and take care of it. Okay, but see, we're adults, right? What is that, like, stop playing with things a child plays with? And, like, I don't know how teacher Yeshua said that. But also, though, is be as a child, but that's about our innocence. But we also change our perspective about, like, what we're capable of as we're growing. Children are already in this mode naturally, changing their perspective about what they're capable of, because they're playing with life every single day. Every day. So if we're experiencing dissatisfaction anywhere in our lives, it just means we gotta move. And if we're feeling the urgency, it's like, I gotta do something about this now. Because do you have a dissatisfaction in your life that you've had for a year? Or 5 years? Like, the time is now. The time is go. That urgency, that's the divine Father at work in us. It's like, move it. Just get up and move. Do one little small thing. Just get up and move. You know, when we are making even small steps, just some kind of small progress, we will know, because at the end of the day, we're going to feel happy about what we did. We're going to feel good about it. I've had days where I'll get up in the morning and I'll think, all right, today I'm going to do a blog. I'm going to write something. Like, I want to do an outline for a video. And I want to make these phone calls. Oh, I got a little headache. I'm just going to sit down. And I end up just sitting down the rest of the day. And at the end of the day, I don't just feel like, oh, darn, I didn't get anything done. At the end of the day, I feel ashamed that I didn't get anything done. Like, where did I let the day go by? And that was on me. And so I hate feeling that way. So if I think about what I want to do, if I have written out what I want to do, I at least do something. Maybe I didn't get the entire blog post written. Maybe I didn't get the entire outline for a video written. But did I get started on it? Maybe I did some. Maybe I ended up writing a song. Sometimes when I feel stuck, I'll write a song instead. So did I do something? Am I looking back over my day? I'm like, yes, I called forth that divine creator through me. Okay, making choices and actions, taking actions. That's what we're here to do, because that's what brings us fulfillment. That's us. That's each of us building that little bionicle that's out of our age range. It's too old for us. We shouldn't be messing with that one yet. We should be messing with something that's in our 5-year-old age range. Like, no. We want to have an adventure so we can discover that we're capable of doing something we didn't know we were capable of. So, now in the third epoch, this is important, that at the end of the day, we have taken some kind of action, because this third epoch is not just about us anymore. Right? The second epoch, we're discovering, well, who are we? Right? Who are we individually? Who are we as a soul? In this third epoch, it's not just about us feeling good about ourselves. It's about us demonstrating what it is that works through us, for us, as us, so that we're expanding our territory, so we're expanding our area of influence. We're calling forth greater good into our lives. We become a rising tide. Because see, now, in this epoch, we are here to help each other also start accomplishing what they are desiring to accomplish. You know, the separation phase that we went through in Epoch 2, the second epoch, that epoch, it's the people are hanging on to that for dear life. And that way of thinking is literally destroying humanity. Okay, the division, the separation, the needing to be the one who has dominion over everything, the need to be the smartest person in the room who's going to tell everybody what they need to do. This is literally destroying our relationships with each other. It is destroying humanity. Doing our best in what we do so that we can expand our area of influence to help other people who happen to be struggling. That is what we are here to do. You know, when Adam's friends discovered, all the little 5-year-olds discovered he was building bionicles, he wanted them to have bionicles too. He wanted them to have it. But he didn't say, you know, it's pretty hard. You know, I'm just 5 and I got the one from 7 to 9 and that was pretty hard. He was just like, all the moms have to buy all the kids bionicles. Every kid needs a bionicle. And they saw what he had done. They knew they could do it too. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to show that, oh my gosh, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Doing our best and helping out each other, That is how we are creating heaven on earth. And so, until next time, remember, you are divinely designed to be doing all this stuff. It's already in you. It's already at work in you, just waiting for you to utilize it and put it to action. And everything you do, you are blessed, and so it is.
So it is. Amen.
Thank you. All right.